Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all had a wonderful day. Guys, once again, we have a tournament with special rules. Only specific factions are allowed in this dragon tournament. And I want to show you a couple of options how you can solo this dungeon and also get some points for the champion training tournament. So let's jump right into it. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe. And now let's get back to the video. So in terms of the normal stages of the dragon, this is one of the options I have for you. Bad Alcazar has been a solo champion forever. Like, I have a couple of videos that are years old, and I'm gonna link them in the description below. Because I think they're still valuable, even though they're kind of outdated, because today we have so many sources where we can get stats from, right? Like relics, area bonuses, and blessings, and all these things weren't in the game back then when I did that solo video, but you can definitely go and check it out. It's a really quick video, and the reason why I'm saying this is because the stats that I have there are way lower than what I have on this Bad Alcazar. But let me show you how this goes. So basically, it's like every other solo strategy, or like most solo strategy. You put the regen gear on your solo champion. You have enough resistance to resist all the debuffs from the waves and the boss, and you have enough accuracy to place debuffs, right? So Bad Khazar is basically killing the enemy waves and the boss with poisons, but he's also healing himself and cleansing debuffs off himself, so that really helps. It takes us like around 1 minute to clear one wave, and it's not really fast. I think there are ways to make this faster. For example, at some point you are able to use War Master with him, so you would kill those waves faster, and the boss, of course, as well. Or, for example, if you have a higher soul or a soul for Bad Khazar and you don't really need that emergency heal blessing to keep him alive, you can also go for Smite, for example, which does a lot of damage also on the waves. But yeah, here you see again around another minute to kill the second wave, and then we get to the boss. And basically what he does is tank the boss, place the poisons, and slowly let the poisons take the boss down. The good thing with Bad Khazar is that he is placing these continuous heals on him, so you kind of have that extra heal, and which is really helping to keep him alive and makes it way easier to build him for this stage. But as you can see, you need a good chunk of HP because the dragon is hitting pretty hard, right, with that scorched attack. So yeah, I wouldn't go lower than 65k HP, something like that, just to make sure that he doesn't die. And as you can see, 3 minutes and 17 seconds to solo stage 20. I think with this build you can definitely solo stage 25 as well, but in terms of energy efficiency, I would definitely go for stage 20, as it costs 16 energy instead of 20, and the chances are pretty much the same to get 5 and 6 star gear. So yeah, stage 20 is definitely the way to go for energy efficiency. Also make sure, if you're trying to complete this specific tournament, where only Dark Elves, Undead Hordes, Knights Revenant, and Demon Spawns are allowed, make sure you only use food from those factions, otherwise you won't get points counting towards that tournament. Now let me show you the build for Bad Khazar to solo the Dragon Slayer stage 20. So it's a very basic approach, a regeneration set and a speed set. You can definitely go with Immortal too, just to get a little bit more extra heal, or anything that mitigates damage or keeps him alive. But the regeneration set is definitely helpful. I think you might be able to get away with like 6 pieces of Immortal, because he has that continuous heal, and that really gives you more freedom to build him with different sets. And as you can see, my gauntlets are on 12, my ring is on 12, and overall the gear is not crazy. Let me show you the stats first though. And by the way, this update is really nice. Now we have the total stats first, and the other tab is on the in the second spot, so we don't have to click to the total stats. So when we click on the information for the total stats, we are instantly directed to the total stats, which is nice. This has been in the game for like 5 years, and now they changed it finally, and I really love it. So Better is sitting at 82,000 HP, 3.1k defense, 252 speed, crit damage, crit rate doesn't matter. It's really important to get to 305 resistance plus, so he starts resisting all the debuffs most of the time. If you can go a little bit higher than that, better. You only need like 250 accuracy for stage 20. Now, in terms of accuracy, there's kind of this rule, this unwritten rule, where you go like, if you're going for stage 20, you multiply that by 10, and that's the amount of accuracy you want to go for, the minimum, right? But because Balthazar's damage is kind of relying on you to place debuffs, I would go a little bit higher, right? Because the poisons are the main damage source, and you really want to make sure he's placing them. So I would aim for like 230, 250, or even more accuracy, but that should be the bottom line for you if you want to solo stage 20. You can definitely go lower on the HP, like 70,000, 65 should be totally fine. I would go for like 3k defense and the speed 250. Maybe you can go a little bit lower, but I would aim for like 240, 250, something like that. Now I got the Blood Shield accessory on him. As you can see, it's an attack Blood Shield ring, not ideal. And the only reason I have this Blood Shield ring on him is because I'm using this emergency heal blessing, which is absolutely amazing for like solo champions to solo dungeons. Use the Blood Shield accessory. Every time he hits somebody, he gets this shield, and every time the shield gets removed from him, he will heal, by a percentage of his max HP, depending on the level of the soul. And this is absolutely amazing. If you have a higher soul, you can see here he will heal by 15% every time that shield will get removed, and this is absolutely amazing to keep your champion alive. I went for the defense and support tree. In the defense tree, you get a little bit of damage mitigation, and on the support tree, you get, eventually a couple turn meter boosts here and there. You get more accuracy. I probably wouldn't go with Swarm Smiter in my case anymore, because I think I got enough accuracy, and I could go with the rapid response, because then he would also sometimes get more turn meter and he would cycle those poisons faster. So if you don't need accuracy from Swarm Smiter, you can definitely go with the rapid response, and then Cycle of Magic and Lore of Steel for a little bit more stats. And Master Hex is really helpful if he's extending the poison debuffs. And of course Spirit Haste, because you're running it with food, right? That will give him more speed. And then the Oppressor Mastery will just give him so much more turn meter, because he's placing a lot of debuffs right on the waves. He's placing like 2 poisons on each enemy, and that will give him a lot of turn meter. So yeah, if you're trying to solo stage 20 and you have better Khazar, I definitely advise you to build him, unless you have a better champion for that option. But in this case, for this specific tournament, Better Khazar is a really, really good option and does a great job. But let me show you another option, which is probably more free-to-play friendly. Better Khazar, you still need to pull him, and some people don't have him. But let me show you a really nice free-to-play option. So you can also use Euros. And Euros is actually a Doom Tower hard champion. Everybody will get him at one point if you're progressing in Doom Tower hard. And let me show you. So the run with Euros will take a little bit longer than Bad Khazar, because he's pretty much relying on to be hit to place poisons, and he's not really placing actively poisons. So that is why the run takes a little bit longer, but he can still get the job done, and that's what counts, right? Now, in terms of the build, he kind of has the same approach with the regen set, with enough accuracy to place the poisons, to place the debuffs. And what's so cool about him is that he's placing shields on his A1, on himself, so you can also go with emergency heal. Now, in this case, how I built him, he doesn't have emergency heal because he doesn't really need it. If you don't have the gear to keep him alive, without emergency heal, you can definitely go for it, and you don't even need a Blood Shield accessory. And the other thing that is so cool about Euros is that he has this big resistance aura. This AD resistance aura is really huge, which is pretty much like a, like a resistance banner almost. And this allows you to focus more on other stats that you need to solo the stage. So yeah, he took around 2 minutes to clear this wave. So as you can see, he kind of like takes twice as long as Balthazar because he needs to be hit to place poisons and doesn't place poisons actively himself. So yeah, after 3 minutes and 50 seconds, we are finally at the boss, and now it's just taking like another 1 or 2 minutes to take the boss down. Another cool thing about Euros is that he places this strengthen on him, so it then definitely helps to tank some of the hits from the dragon. As you see, sometimes he drops below 50%, and that is because the dragon is really hitting hard sometimes. So again, you need a good amount of HP, you need a good amount of defense to be able to tank those hits. So yeah, this actually takes a lot of time. 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes, right? So you definitely want to do those runs while you are not on the game, playing it actively, and just let it run in the background or and do something else. But I think Euros is a really nice option, especially because he's accessible for everyone and does a great job as well. So let me show you the build real quick. Now, this is my Euros. I got him in an Immortal and Regeneration set, and these are his stats. So he's at 114k HP, 2.8k defense. I would definitely push that defense a little bit because sometimes it's really close with the dragon that he dies. And yeah, I would go like for like 3k plus defense at least, or even like 3.5k. The speed, you know, the slower he is, the better, basically. But you can go for like 130, 140, 150, and it will still be fine. Now, in terms of resistance, my resistance is a little bit too low, right? You should definitely go for like 300 minimum. But keep in mind that he has this big resistance aura, which helps a lot. 80 resistance, so basically he's at 284. But I would push that by another 20 just to make sure he doesn't get debuffed a lot. And then the accuracy is a total overkill. You only need like 250 accuracy, something like that in that area. 250, like 220 to 250 is totally fine. This accuracy is for different content, and I just didn't touch his build at all. I didn't optimize it for soloing the dragon, but it works, and that's what counts. But if I would optimize it, I would go for 220 resistance because I'm using his aura, and then 250 accuracy. I would up the defense, and the HP can also be a little bit lower, like 100k is totally fine if you up the defense to like 3.5k, something like that. And the good part about Euros is he doesn't need books. Now, if he's booked, it will definitely be faster because you can book his passive, so that way the chance to place poisons will be higher. So that would definitely speed things up. And then we talked about the blessing as well. You can use Brimstone, you can use Emergency Heal. Both work. If you want to do a faster run, if you're able to survive without Emergency Heal, you can go for Brimstone. If you have to use Emergency Heal to keep him alive, do that as well. In terms of masteries, I would definitely go for Master Hexa because, again, his damage is coming from poisons, and you want to make sure to place as many poisons as possible, so that definitely helps. You don't have to go for the accuracy if you don't need to. You can also go for the resistance here, which just makes it easier to build him. But in general, he doesn't need those T6 masteries when you can hit those stats without it, right? So I would definitely go for the defense tree to get some damage mitigation in here, which really helps to survive the big hits from the dragon. But yeah, that's pretty much all about Euros. But there's also a champion that can solo the hard stages from these specific factions. And unfortunately, I don't have this champion, and his name is Theodore. So Theodore is the Spirit Affinity champion from the Knights Revenant faction, and he's an absolute monster in the Dragon Dungeon, or generally in dungeons, because he can activate poisons. And not only can he do that, he also has an AoE attack that places decreased speed, and he places increased speed on himself and the poisons alongside the poison sensitivity. And then on his A3, he increases the duration of all poisons and as well HP burn debuffs, and then instantly activates the poison debuff. So absolutely amazing. He's probably the best poison activation champion out there. Also, his passive allows you to build him with a little bit less resistance, because for each poison debuff he places, he gets an additional 5 resistance, which is absolutely amazing. And on top of that, he has an accuracy aura in all battles. So I know he can solo stage 8 in Dragonheart. I don't know if he can do stage 10, but if he can, he probably needs crazy stats. But I can tell you, for stage 8, he needs around 250 accuracy, because you get those 50 accuracy from his aura, and then you need like another 250 to get to 300 to be able to place debuffs. If you can get a little bit more, that's better. And then in terms of resistance, to be able to resist debuffs, you need around 400 resistance, and you should aim for like 350, something like that. But keep in mind that he's getting more resistance for each poison debuff he places, so you can definitely go a little bit lower than 400, but I wouldn't go too low. Also, give him, emergency heal and blood shield accessory, just to make sure he survives, and also defense tree and support tree, kind of the same way I built Bad Alcazar. That's what I would do. Now, one of my clanmates that is actually soloing stage 8 sent this in our clan Discord, and I was feeling so free to share that with you. So he's sitting at 92k HP, 4.5k defense, 252 speed, crit rate, crit damage, doesn't matter. As you can see, he's pretty low with the resistance, to be honest, 308, but it still works for him. And then 300 accuracy, even though he has this accuracy aura, which gives him another 50. So it's not even optimized, but it still works. I mean, the extra accuracy, the 350 accuracy doesn't hurt, to make sure he places the debuffs, just to get to that, 97% chance to place them. But I would definitely up the resistance a little bit more, just to make sure he does survive, even though I think his run's been really consistent. Now, I would definitely book him, right? He needs to be booked. And then in terms of masteries, you can go with something similar to what I got for my Bad Al, right? Something like this. Or you go with War Master instead of the support tree, which also works. I'm pretty sure there are other champions out there that can do it from those specific factions, but these are the ones that I used from time to time, and I just wanted to share that with you. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And with that being said, see you in the next video.